Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Eric Tilson Show, presented by Starnes Barber, where we cover everything on the Tundra with the North Greene Huskies football team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Eric Tilson. How are we doing this week?
Wet and trying to get ready for today's wet practice.
I don't know if anybody can tell. I know your hair's spiked up a little bit more than usual,
I'm trying to get that machine up and rolling, and of course it starts pouring. And, we better get ready for a wet one anyway. So It's going to be wet ball drill this week.
It's going to be wet all week, I think. So I guess it's good to get used to it now because I don't know if it's going to stop raining any day this week, and that's the case for this week. As we've already seen some teams move their games up to Thursday night. We'll go ahead and say it right now. You're going to keep yours at Friday night.
Friday.
Regardless, you've got
a Thursday middle school game, and then Williamsburg, they're a small district, so they're limited on buses. So we're playing.
Keeping it on Friday night. That's what I like to hear. Friday night lights. I don't have to change to Thursday night lights this week. Still Friday night lights. But let's talk about this past Friday night's lights here at the Tundra. Fourth straight win over Hancock County. 56-8 final. Best winning streak since 2005. You get another one under your belt, improved to 4-1 on the season. Talk about how happy you were leaving the field Friday night with a big win over a region opponent too.
Well, I was pleased with the execution, which is kind of what it's about. I mean, we knew based on film kind of what we were up against, and it was one of those games that it was more. Of course, it's always about us. It's about how we execute, and that's going to continue to do so. But I was pleased with our execution. Defense played lights out, did what they're supposed to, and our D-line, linebackers especially, our secondary didn't have much to do, but I was very pleased with that. Played well on special teams, and then played well offensively. We were very efficient offensively, 28 plays and scoring 56 points. Pretty good day at the office. I've been pleased with the progress on offense, not just even this past game. Going back, we've scored on about 75-80% of all our possessions this year. And that's a pretty good high percentage of the time when you have the ball, you pretty much are going down and scoring, which is huge. We just haven't had the opportunities to go down very much. So haven't had a whole lot of possessions. And then on Friday night, don't have a whole lot of plays, but a lot of that has to do with we take the ball and go down and score. Our defensive coordinator, Coach Tilson, was giving me a hard time on Friday because he's like, "Hey, Coach, you had your longest drive of the year." And I was like, "What was that?" And he said 5 minutes and 6 seconds. We went down. I went down and scored. Most of our drives, I think we had one drive. It was about a 7 or 8 play drive, and we completed it in 1 minute and 21 seconds.
Wow, that's quick.
So we've been playing real fast, and it's been kind of good that our guys are confident. They get to play. They get rolling. So I was real pleased overall with the execution. Of course, there's a lot of guys to highlight from that game Friday, but it all starts with quarterback position. He played lights out, made good decisions, good throws. One of his best post balls that he's thrown all year, one to Kelson. And he's starting to really develop and being a field general out there, and he's starting to run with authority as well. And then it's kind of nice to be able to kind of put some other guys in toward late in the game and still be able to go out and execute.
We talked about Thomas right there, and we have to talk about his stat line because we talked about how he's had really efficient games here lately. He had an even more efficient game this week. 7 of 9 passing. 5 of those 7 completions went for touchdowns. 221 total yards through the air. I know you told me off air we haven't been able to find concrete evidence, but we think that 5 passing touchdown performance might be a school record.
It could be. We can't actually confirm it because North Greene's had a pretty good history of really good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to go back. We're trying to comb through to kind of see what that is. I know Coach Bailey, Tyler, one of our assistants, he's going back talking to his dad because there was a couple big scoring games back then. Kind of seeing who scored that.
Yeah.
So we're coming through it right now, but it's close at least. I do know we had one record on Friday for sure. So, and then we had of course total points in a game. We were second. School record's 57, and we got to 56.
I mean that's about as close as you can get to it, and of course you wish you could break that record, but you're happy about the records that you were able to break with Juan Soto having 8 extra points kicked in a game. 8 of 8, perfect night for him, 8 consecutive. I don't know when the last time he had kicked one before off the top of my head is, so I don't know how many consecutive he's up to at this point, or if it's 8.
I'm not sure. We started kicking them.
I don't know if he kicked
I think this is the first week we did it because he started kickoffs second game of the year, and then we had to find a long snapper. Of course, Duffy's been holding since he's been here, so we've slowly been working. This was the first week we actually started kicking extra points,
So perfect for him so far, 8 of 8. I know we had talked about how we were going to be excited to talk about his development throughout the year, but the first night you see him kicking extra points, I mean, he sets a school record. It's about as great of a debut as you can get.
Yeah, no doubt.
But we talk about those scoring plays, and we talk about Thomas Darnell scoring those 5 touchdowns. The first one went to Brandon Weems to put you up 7-0. You had one to Jake Duffy from 60 yards out to put you up 14-0. Then Kelson Eastep gets his second career touchdown as a high school athlete with a 30-yard receiving touchdown. He later got another that put you up 42-0, so he had a 2-touchdown night. And then Jake Duffy with a 13-yard receiving touchdown, his second receiving of the night. But he also had 3 total because he had another touchdown that came on was that a triple speed option that you ran? It's something new I think we've seen out of the playbook.
We've actually ran that quite a bit, but it's a triple option off of power. We actually ran the same play twice in a row. First time, the defensive end went upfield, we handed the ball off, and that was one we actually went back and looked. Yeshua had 8 broken tackles on one play. On one play.
That might be a school record, too.
It may be, but he had 8 broken tackles, got down the 4-yard line. We ran the same play again. That next time, defensive end crashed. Fourth player stepped up the quarterback. We pitched the ball. So you see Duffy kind of running back area. We actually run it with Brandon too on the pitch. So we got a couple different variations of like a triple option out of our power stuff. So it's been pretty good to us so far.
We've talked about Jake's games throughout the season. He had that amazing game at Castlewood last year, and he had another amazing game this week against Hancock County with a 3-touchdown performance. When you have a trio of touchdowns, and whenever you win a ball game, then they're definitely one of your best playmakers on the night, and Jake definitely was this past Friday night.
He's a big-time playmaker. And one big one is we actually got behind the sticks. I forgot how we got behind the chain, but it was 3rd and 16, and we needed a pretty big play. And we run a pop pass, and he converted the pop into a vertical, and he got right behind the linebackers in between the safety, and he made a really good contested catch for a touchdown. That was a pretty big one there because that would have been possibly 3 points that turned into 7.
Oh, wow.
So it was definitely a big one there.
We talked about Kelson Eastep scoring 2 more touchdowns. You're starting to see him kind of blossom as a great receiver out there. He had his first touchdown against Cumberland Gap on that 47-yard score where nobody was even near him, and he gets 2 this past Friday night, too. You're starting to see him blossom, and I'm not going to quite say that he's becoming one of Darnell's favorite targets, but it seems that way as he's finding him more lately.
Some with our receivers, some of that is product of chance, of timing, of what side of the field we're on. Those couple plays, he just happened to be our number 1 first read on that, and it was open, so we went in through it. Another receiver who had a big night that was not on the stat sheet, but Matthew Boyd. He made 2 or 3 blocks that sprung touchdowns. So we ran a play-action pass to Jake. It was actually designed for Matt. We got pressure immediately, so Darnell had to throw it quick. So the flat was open, throws it to Jake, which is his outlet. It's what he's supposed to do. But we had Matthew running about 10 yards, and it was designed for him to get the ball. Well, he converts into blocking. Well, he ends up getting a 2-for-1. He takes his guy that was covering him, blocks him, and then he shoves his guy into a guy who would have made the tackle, makes him trip. And then that's how Duffy got the edge. So it was a big play by him. And he had another big block that sprung a big run as well. So he had a big night as well. Just he didn't have any targets or catches, but he blocked really well.
Those are the things that really don't show up on the stat sheet.
No, but it helps.
More important.
It helps you win a ball game.
It does.
I think definitely need to make sure he's recognized for that.
Leon Johnson too, stepping into the game late, getting 2 rushing touchdowns. He finally got 2 rushing touchdowns on the board this year because we talked about how he played really well against Jellicoe, and he had, I know, 1 called back for sure because I was right down there beside the pylon, but seems like Leon has just had bad luck so far this year, but he did add 2 late in the game. finally got those two back, and I'm sure he feels good about it too.
Yeah, I got worried on that last one there for a second. I thought they might call that one back. It's all flag up on the field. I was like, oh, here we go again. But,
poor kid.
Poor kid. But he's run the ball extremely well, and he made a couple guys miss and just started outrunning people, and that should be a big confidence boost for him because it wasn't like he was going against backups either. It was still had the first group out there and running the ball pretty well.
We talked about all the offensive performances, but we haven't mentioned the total yardage. 440 total yards. I think a theme this week so far on the show is we've been talking about records. That's good. We get to talk about records and potential records being broken. That's one that I think could be up there too. Maybe not the school record, but definitely up there for total yardage in a game with 440. And another one that you can maybe put in that conversation is you held Hancock County to only 75 total yards. Very rarely do you see a team held to less than 100 yards in a game, but once again, another fantastic night on offense and another fantastic night on defense. And we haven't talked about Yeshua Vaught yet on here. He didn't have many offensive plays. Mm-hmm. He definitely didn't have a scoring play, but a big reason why you held them to only 75 yards on defense.
He played lots out on defense. He had a couple hit sticks. And he removed the will for them to run the ball a couple times. They ran a quarterback sneak and they got us on it. They'd been running that outside sweep because they couldn't run the ball between tackles. And he kind of mistimed it, and they were able to get a little chunk play on a quarterback sneak, and they tried to run it again. Mm-hmm. He made them pay big time. And then about 2 plays later, our safety is coming down to fit the play. Here comes Yeshua out of nowhere and absolutely lays the boom on the running back. And after that point, they stopped running hard because I don't know if I would either if you got number 3 chasing you down. He played lights out on defense, so it was a pretty big night for him. And he had a good night offensively, and he did protected well and ran the ball hard. I mean, 8 broken tackles in play is a pretty big deal. So really pleased with what he's done so far this year. So definitely the defensive line played well. Not everybody on defense played well for the most part. And, of course, it's kind of hard to grade when you got 3 and out. So it's definitely a big deal. But I know I was excited about our execution. You talk to our guys. We talked a lot about records and stuff, but at the end of the day, like we're trying to go out and go win football games, and that's what's important to us. And I think we're on a path to give ourselves a chance. So I'm definitely excited about the opportunity to have a good football team and be able to go compete against other good football teams. So we took care of business what we're supposed to do on Friday, and now moving forward, excited about playing against top-notch opponents.
Looking to win 5 in a row?
I'm not going
We're looking to go 1-0 this week.
We're looking to go 1-0 this week.
You know it was a good night on the Tundra whenever I have to reach up here and I have to scroll to read all of my notes. I mean, I'll read them off one more time just because it's amazing to see all of this. 56-8 win over Hancock County, 4th straight win, best winning streak since 2005. Second most points scored in a single game with 56. The record was 57. 440 total yards on offense. Hancock County was held to only 75 yards. Thomas Darnell, another terrific night, 7 of 9 passing with 221 passing yards and 5 passing touchdowns. We had the scoring log that we went over earlier, so if you did miss that, go back and watch it because, honestly, I don't feel like going through that again because it's a lot to go through because it was a great offensive night for the Huskies. But Juan Soto, another school record, 8 of 8 on extra points, 8 consecutive. But you do move into another game with Williamsburg this week on Friday night.
On Friday night.
Not moving into Thursday night, sticking with Friday night. Friday. Looking to go 1-0 this week.
1-0.
1-0 this week. Not going to mention anything else.
Nope.
But we'll go into the break before we talk about that, so stay tuned with us, and we'll talk about the Williamsburg game right after this break here on Grassroots Media.
Baileyton Drug Company services the surrounding communities of Baileyton with excellent patient care using a full-line pharmacy, over-the-counter selections, and a convenient drive-thru. When you visit us, you are treated as a neighbor, not a number. It's not just our slogan, but our culture. We're investing in our patients, local schools, and community. For over 5 years now, we have established ourselves as an independently family-run pharmacy that isn't driven by corporate goals. We are driven by what is best for your overall health and wellness. We're conveniently located so you don't have to make the drive. Prescription drugs are just the tip of the iceberg. We also offer natural remedies, essential oils, at-home medical needs such as walkers, rollators, bath accessories, as well as wound care products. And coming soon, basic urgent care services. What makes us better than other drugstores out there? When you frequent Baileyton Drug, you will receive professional, courteous, and friendly service that goes above and beyond any other pharmacy in the area. Remember, you're a neighbor, not a number.
Pizza, pancakes, or donuts, the Davy Crockett Travel Center in Baileyton has the cure for all your cravings. While you're there, shop our general store for souvenirs, gifts, and cellular accessories. In a hurry, grab a cold drink and a hot dog to go. Check us out on Facebook and come to Baileyton.
My name is Robert Starnes. I'm a lifelong resident of North Greene County, where I currently reside here with my wife and 3 children. I was a barber in Greenville for the last 6 years, but I have recently changed locations to my new shop in Baileyton. It's at 285 Mortis Hollow Lane, Afton. I'm also a proud supporter of North Greene Athletics. Come see me for all of your men and boys grooming needs. Go Huskies!
Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Eric Tilson Show, presented by Starnes Barber, where we cover everything on the Tundra with the North Greene Huskies football team. As always, I'm joined here with Huskies head coach Eric Tilson. You need a haircut?
Yeah.
I think I do too. You know the perfect place to go?
Oh, it's Starnes Barbershop.
Starnes Barbershop, locally right down the road. Don't know the number off the top of my head, but
Not either.
when I drive from Western Greene County all the way here, I see about 3 or 4 signs that point to which direction to go. So if you're ever in need of a haircut, hit up Starnes Barbershop. If you're ever feeling sickly on a Saturday morning after a Husky football game,
Baileyton Drug Company.
call Baileyton Drug Company. They'll get you right. But hopefully you don't wake up sick this Saturday morning. It is supposed to rain. Rains do cause colds. But hopefully when you wake up on Saturday morning, you feel a little better with another win. You got Williamsburg, Kentucky on Friday night. Looking to go 1-0 this week. Not going to mention anything else other than that. Just looking to go 1-0 this week. But it's a team that you traveled to last year, and they gave you a pretty decent game last year. They were really good on offense last year. They have a really good senior quarterback who can run, who can throw, who can do both at the same time. So you're going to expect that again this year. So what's your game plan going into this Friday night when they travel down to see you here on the Tundra?
Hopefully number 2 doesn't show up on the bus. And but all kidding aside, he is a very talented player. He's about 6'2", 108 pounds, and he'll be the fastest player on the field. He'll probably be the best player we face the entire season. He's just that talented, and they're well coached, and they do a good job. And so I would like to seen us against them at full strength. It would have been a more competitive game. I don't know if the outcome changes or not, but I think more competitive. But they are not the same team they were last year, and we're not the same team we were last year. So kind of throw last year out of the equation. But he's a very talented kid. We'll talk a lot about him because of he's
just that talented.
He is that talented. Watched him hurdle a kid into the end zone, which is illegal in high school. So they called it back, but it was still impressive nonetheless. Yes. And then 2 plays later, he juked somebody out of their shoes, and he went and scored anyway. So he's legit, and we have a tall task trying to keep him contained. They got some good skill athletes on the outside. They be able to get the ball out in space. Our running back runs real hard. They like to throw the ball quite a bit, and then he can make things happen. So they're scary on offense. Until the past few games, they can score some points. Defensively, they have a very similar structure that we do. They're a three down unit. They can get into a stack look. They get to primarily a 3-4 versus the type of stuff that we do. And then they'll be single high versus trips, and then our 2x2 stuff they'll have a couple overhangs. So they look like it's a real big run box, but a lot of people are activated to the run, so they look spread out, and then you hand the ball off and everybody's swarming to the ball. So they're well coached, and we feel like we can expose some things that they give up. So we'll need to be able to execute on the perimeter with some quick game, and we need to be able to establish run game, especially this Friday, and also looking forward weather. It's going to be wet and sloppy, and we need to be able to establish the line of scrimmage, which is something we can do this week. That was one thing last year. Their offensive line was phenomenal. They had 5 seniors up front. They were huge. I remember watching them come out of the locker room and being like, wow. They look like a college offensive line.
Yeah.
I'd like to see where they all went to college to go play, because they were good up front. And of course they graduated. They're still well coached up front, but they're still kind of figuring things out. So we need to establish the line of scrimmage, and we do that, we will have a chance to go compete. And if you're a competitor, and you should be excited about a game like this, because this is a playoff type game.
Yes.
This is something to help us prepare for the second, third round when you're playing against a really good team. And seeing how we go out and compete. And the thing is we don't talk about streaks. We don't talk about stuff like that, because that puts pressure on you. Pressure's on our opponent. We don't have the pressure. We're going to go out and play with reckless abandon, and we're going to apply pressure to them. We're not going to play to not lose this game. We're going to go play to win this game. And then we'll surrender to the results from there. And that's exciting. Be able to go out and go compete against a good football team. And if we do what we're supposed to do, which is what we've been preaching all year, we'll be successful. And if we go out and execute on offense, we execute the way we're supposed to in a run game, we catch the ball when we're supposed to, if we block on the perimeter like we're supposed to, we should be successful offensively. Defensively, we've got to contain this quarterback and everybody do their job. He will get loose a couple times.
Yes. It's bound to happen.
It's going to happen.
If you've seen the kid play before, then you know.
Yeah, he's going to get loose, and you've got to be able to settle down. Okay, they made a big play. How are we going to respond? Be able to not necessarily stop the kid, but contain him. Not let him take the game over, but he's going to get what he gets. And you should be excited as a defensive player, because you want to see how you measure up against kids like that. We have kids with college football aspirations here. Well, now you get a chance to go up against a kid who is going to be playing college football one day, or some sort of college. I don't know what other sports he plays, but this probably got college aspirations, and you want to see how you go compete against somebody like that. And so I hope our competitors are excited about this matchup, because we're going to get tested, and I'm excited to get tested. In the past, I would not necessarily would be excited about getting tested, but I am excited about our team and excited about the matchup that we have this week.
Seems like this is one of the most excited game, or this is one of the times that you've been the most excited for a game this year.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like going into this week.
Well, the past few weeks, we kind of knew what was going to happen, but this week's one of those is like, we go out and execute well, we got a chance.
Yeah.
And we got a chance not only to win, but like put a hurting on people and really shock some people. And the good thing is we're going to be challenged. As from a player standpoint, we're going to be challenged because they're talented. We're going to be challenged as coaches because we're coaching against good coaching staff. They're going to have adjustments. It's going to be a chess match back and forth, a cat and mouse game, and so it's exciting on all levels to be like, okay, we've got to bring our best foot forward this week, and but that's the thing is like the pressure's not on us; it's on our opponent because we're the underdogs in this case, quite literally as Huskies, but. So we're excited about playing that role, and look forward to going to compete against them.
You're getting too good at these interviews.
I don't.
I've got all of my questions and topics right here in front of me.
I did kind of cheat a little bit. I kind of
that's okay. That's okay. You talked about the offense. You talked about the defense. You even talked about one that I didn't have up there too, where I was going to ask, is this kind of a litmus test for you? Because you had talked about off air how this is kind of a not necessarily a playoff game for you, but it'll be kind of like a playoff type game where you'll be going up against a team that's the same caliber of the teams that you could potentially see in the playoffs, like the team you saw last year in Oliver Springs. So is this kind of a litmus test for you? Is this kind of the game that you're looking at right now early in – well, I guess not early in the season. We're kind of in the middle point of the season. But is this the one that you're looking at right here in the middle of the season that you think can kind of give you the toughest test to see how your team can perform going forward?
No doubt. And the best part about it is at the end of the day, the game doesn't matter. So is if you come out and you don't execute as well as you think, I expect us to go out and execute, but let's say we drop a game. Well, now we can make some adjustments to get us ready for the playoffs when it really does matter. That's the fun part. That's why the pressure's not on us, because like at the end of the day, like this is like an exposition game, and it's one of those type of games where the pressure's off. Let's just go play and have some fun playing football and go out and execute. And that's one thing that sometimes fans don't really understand is it's fun playing football, but when you get to this level of football, like the fun changes.
Yeah.
The fun is no longer just going out playing a game. The fun is going out and executing well. The fun is going out and exerting your will on somebody. I had a O-line coach in college that says the greatest feeling for an offensive lineman when you take a grown man from point A to point B against his will. And it truly is a whole lot of fun. So, but when you exert your will on somebody and they don't want you to move them, and then you move them anyway, or you break 8 tackles when they're trying to tackle you, when you're executing, that's when football becomes fun at this level. And that's what I hope. When I say go out and have fun, that's what I mean. I don't mean like jolly, happy-go-lucky, go out and not play well. I mean, like, fun for us is going out and executing, is going out and doing what you're supposed to, and then going down and scoring, making a big stop. That is fun at this level.
And one thing that I want to mention also before I get into our 3 keys to the game, which I'm wondering if they're any different this week. I've got that in the back of my mind. But one thing that I failed to mention in the first half that I think proves how different the culture is around this program now is that you're locked in the playoffs now.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Exactly. You're locked into the playoffs now, and that's one thing that we had talked about the last few years, how you win that one game or you win those 2 games that lock you into the playoffs. We're excited to talk about that on the show, like, hey, the Huskies are going to the playoffs. Well, you're into the playoffs for the 4th year in a row now.
I guess.
So that's something that I don't know if that's been done here at North Greene before, but it just hit me during the middle of that spill right there that you were talking about. Like, hey, aren't they playoff bound now? Because I'm trying to think, like, you're talking about the litmus test with Williamsburg looking forward to the playoffs, and I'm like, well, aren't they locked into the playoffs now? So how good does it feel? I guess you hadn't really thought about it yet, so this is really your first thought about it. How good does it feel to know you're locked into the playoffs this early into the season and now can fight for, like, can we host?
Well, it's been our goal the entire time is to host the playoff game, so I guess everything's working to that point. So, I mean, excited about playing playoffs, but, like, we've got other goals in mind.
I mean, it kind of just talks about how different the culture is around here now. The fact that I hadn't heard anybody even mention it. Nobody had tweeted about it. Nobody included it in any articles. We hadn't mentioned it so far on this show. But, hey, the Huskies are playoff bound again.
It's definitely the earliest we've ever done it.
Yes. But the Huskies are playoff bound. You've got a great game this week and a great test in Williamsburg. As always, you got 3 keys to the game.
We sure do.
What are they?
A playmaker's got to make plays. You got to have great effort. You got to have great tackling.
Never change.
Never changes.
Never changes.
Nope.
But I think that's all we've got this week. Looking forward to the game on Friday night that I'll be here for.
Oh.
So, hey, I'll see you out there on the field Friday night. Yeah. Absolutely. But that's all we've got, unless you've got anything else you'd like to add this week.
We're going to have to go get a haircut.
Yeah, we are. I got to go get one, too. We'll go together. We'll do a show at Starnes Barber Shop.
We ought to.
There we go.
Hey.
But that's all we've got this week. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Eric Tilson Show, presented by Starnes Barber Shop. We look forward to seeing y'all next time here on Grassroots Media.